big man in Toronto would be Jakob Poeltl, who signed a 4-year deal, and he was speaking today. And here's what he had to say about his conversations with Fred VanVleet prior to signing with the Raptors.
I was talking to Fred. Obviously, neither of us really knew going into it what was going to happen. Like, there was definitely some options for the both of us, and obviously, I would have liked to keep playing with Fred. Like, he's definitely a big part of my success here in Toronto as well. I feel like we created some good chemistry here. But I mean, that's the NBA. Like, you're going to have free agency, you're going to have trades, like you're going to have change mid-season, and you're just going to have to roll with the punches. And I think we still have a really talented team. Like, we have some really good point guard replacements already. Like, I'm not really too worried about it.
I like that attitude, and he's right. Like, that's the nature of pro sports in the NBA. But you know,
he's not right about the fact they got good point guard replacements.
No,
because they don't.
That's the whole thing. Like, their guard position has been a flaw for quite some time, including VanVleet. Like, VanVleet had a poor first half. Now, it changed when Poeltl arrived, and that's what Poeltl's saying. Like, all of a sudden, Fred, you know, they were playing that high pick and roll a lot, and Fred started, you know, I don't think it was a coincidence that all of a sudden his play started to improve, and Poeltl played a big role in that.
Yeah, that was the next dynamic.
Absolutely, and the ball movement that Poeltl supplies. But I think, you know, he's being diplomatic. Of course, he's going to, you know, pump the tires of his new teammates.
Sure.
But the timing, you know, he was also saying today, like, before I agreed to sign, I kind of thought maybe Fred was sticking around.
So the Raptors.
And I think the Raptors probably did too.
Yeah.
Because it seems like that was their plan. Bring back Fred, sign Poeltl, and go back to the well with, you know, Poeltl, Siakam, Anunoby, I guess Barnes, VanVleet starting 5.
Or bring back Fred, and if you're going to move anybody of the established guys, it's going to be Pascal.
Right. And move maybe Scotty
OG
to the 4 or possibly OG, I guess.
And maybe they'll still move Pascal. Who knows? Certainly there's a lot of hot rumors around that. But yeah, this is not ideal. Let's just say. This is a bad outcome.
Right. It's like asset management is not it's not been a good scene. And even now with Poeltl, like if Fred walks and then you move on from Siakam, you're looking at Poeltl thinking, okay, well, like him coming in slotted Siakam appropriately, and it elevated the play of VanVleet. But if both of them are gone, what are you getting from Poeltl?
Right.
Like, what is Poeltl going to bring if the ball's going to be in the hands of Scotty Barnes a lot more? And is he prepared for that? Like Scotty Barnes is not prepared to be a primary ball handler on a team that's going to win a lot of ball games.
Wow.
Like, that's just not – he is not ready for that role.
Unless you want Malachi Flynn playing a lot more minutes, he might have to be.
That's the issue. I'm not saying it won't happen.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming a big part of why Darko Rajokovic is here is because he came in and probably sold them on why he can make that work.
Sure.
I'm just saying that is going to be a learning process. Like, there will be a bell curve for Scotty to get to that point.
Yes, indeed.
You know, because he's got handles, he's comfortable with the ball in his hands, but he is not a pure point guard. He is not. Well,
especially, look, the more you take on that role, too, and he talked about how he got tired at times this past season, right? Basically, you know, acknowledging he needs to be in better condition. You're going to have to be even better condition. You want to start taking point guard minutes?
Absolutely.
I mean, that's a toll. Not only on the offensive side of it.
Who are you going to guard?
Who are you going to guard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's a part of it, too. Like, you can't trust Gary Trent to be guarding, you know, a pure point guard.
No.
I don't think.
I mean, look.
Anunoby can do it, but OG you want on a different role.
That's the problem. Nick Nurse was openly critical of Gary Trent's defense at times last year, and rightly so. And you're right. Malachi Flynn, you know, Dennis Schroeder is a water bug. He gets in the paint, but he doesn't shoot it well.
No.
And defensively, we'll see.
Like, he's a good depth option, but if he's going to be playing 33, 34, 35 minutes a night.
Yeah, it changes the tone.
That changes the tone.
Yeah, it does.
You know, if he's coming off the bench and he's a guy that can give you good minutes and, you know, fill in when need be, change of pace. Exactly. I think that's.
Yeah, he was good like that for the Lakers, right?
Exactly.
Like he's played more off the bench than he has as a starter in his NBA career, and I think he's been more effective as a bench player.
Right. But as of now, you know, the way it sets up, he's going to be the guy. Yeah, he's probably your number one.
Yeah. So, not ideal.
No.
Not ideal. And maybe that's why they got to go further now. Like, if you're Masai Ujiri, you're like, okay, well, that didn't go to plan.
Right.
You know, we could have traded Fred. We didn't at the deadline, and now we got nothing for him. Maybe we got to change the tack in another way. Like, it can't just be, like, for him to say, I didn't enjoy watching this team play, you can't just bring back essentially the same team. And I know there's been a few changes, but if you're bringing back Siakam and you're bringing back the core of Siakam and OG and Barnes and Poeltl, you know, it really, and then it's just kind of like great, you know, Grady Dick and Dennis Schroeder.
And maybe a healthy Otto Porter.
Well, ideally, yeah.
But who knows
what
what
are
you're
the odds
getting
of
there?
that?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
and even that, he's a depth.
Those changes aren't significant enough.
No. See, I always took that comment more as a shot at Nick Nurse than the players. You know,
that's a good point.
Like they clearly were not on the same page.
No,
like
no,
Nick,
but there's been a lot
Nick
blamed on Nick Nurse.
I agree.
Like kind of not
yeah.
directly, but certainly a lot of implication. A lot of
hey, Nick, you're the reason we're in
innuendo.
the situation we're in certain areas where I think Nick can make a very good case, and one that I would side with. You know, not to jump on Malachi Flynn, but Malachi Flynn is not a legitimate option as a backup point guard in this league.
Oh, they're gonna
force him into
tell you he is
absolutely
this season.
Yeah, absolutely. But I understand why Nick was like, I can't do that.
No,
I'm not going to that bench. Like, what do you want me to do? Who am I playing?
Exactly.
Right. And you look at
That's
the guys
the
who
thing.
had down years. You know, Chris Boucher had a big step backwards.
He did.
Season.
Inconsistent.
Precious was injuries in much colder than hotter.
Yeah.
This year compared to his first year.
Totally. Yeah, no,
So
and I think
easy to blame the coach, but the players didn't hold up their end of the bargain, and I would say management didn't either.
Well, and that's the thing. Like that's what we're going to find out this season because they're making the case that there was untapped potential on that bench last year, and we're about to see it.
We will find out if Darko Rajokovic has a magic touch.